It's been a while.
Yeah, it feels like.
No, legitimately, like let's see the last time we posted a podcast.
I actually don't know. What's your guess?
You'll be shocked.
No, what's your guess?
It's not. We can't be doing that anymore. That's not good.
Is it
It was killing me.
2 months? 3 months?
I think it was like right when quarantine. I gotta
No, we did one during quarantine. We did the one with Cody and Maitreya during quarantine.
Last episode we posted was with Maitreya.
Okay.
And it was May 29th.
May.
Yeah.
The whole world has changed since May.
It has. And
there's been a whole...
Just to let everyone know, we haven't been... I mean, obviously a lot of stuff has come up in our lives since then.
Yeah.
But like we didn't stop the podcast to stop the podcast. We stopped because we couldn't have any guests on. Mm-hmm. And like...
And then we just didn't know.
Yeah.
I think like it was also in transition in terms of us figuring out what the podcast is going to be like post-COVID, because beforehand, there was... Is anybody up and coming right now? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like a lot of the guests we had on the show was people that were up and coming and stuff like that. And we're like, okay, well, that kind of just shot us in the foot because we don't have, access to a lot of
like
cool
networking
stories.
events that we can really like meet people and meet guests at. That's
because that's how me and you used to get people on the show. Is we'd go to these events or these parties and stuff like that, or
acting class
or whatever it was, and just like be like, hey, what's up? What are you doing?
But now it's just cold calling people, I guess.
Well, I guess
right?
like you're kind of messaging, DMing people on Instagram. They're like,
it's not the same,
yeah, it's not
right?
the same. It's not
because
the same.
you make that personal connection with somebody, they're so much more likely to actually come onto because a lot of the people that we've had as guests on the podcast have become our friends, right?
So I would say majority of them.
Yeah.
Like majority of the people that we have on the show.
That's like my social circle now, right?
Yeah.
So I think that when you make that personal connection with somebody at IRL, it's so different than DMing somebody.
Yeah.
People are so much more likely to be flaky if you initiate something online, as we know from dating too, right?
Totally. Yeah, seriously. And it was interesting too, because like the podcast, I feel like we were definitely moving in a good direction with it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And now we're just kind of moving in a different direction with it, just based on circumstances.
Well, I actually think that it's a natural evolution because we were moving towards more wellness, spirituality, mindfulness, health and wellness. And just, I think overall, something that I realized, and I think both you and I have had this transition going from more of a hustler mentality to more of a, I don't know, just like allowing mentality of, and also realizing that you need to take care of your core self, your physical and your mental health, or you're not going to be like, you're not going to be good to anybody or good friend. You're not going to be your best self. You're not going to be doing your best work, even if you are hustling all day long. I don't think that I think what serves you better is to like center yourself 100%. And tune your instrument. And that's a shift that I've had recently because of COVID, because I couldn't do the hustling. So I focus more inwardly, on building, like I said, myself as an instrument. And I think that I've gotten happier and overall in life, which is obviously really important, but I've become a better actor even. Yeah. And I noticed that I can just access the emotional places I need to go easier if I'm centered in my own emotions.
Well, that just goes back to like having a great foundation.
Yeah.
Like you need to have a great foundation if you want to, in my opinion, succeed. Like you need to have a strong base.
Yeah.
And that comes with like a lot of like self-help things that you need to be doing. You need to be exercising. You need to be meditating has been a massive thing for me.
Yeah, me too.
I know I was doing that a little bit before COVID, but I really got into it during COVID. And it's like I don't think I'd be even the person I am today if it wasn't for it.
I don't think so either. During COVID I started meditating as well. I did Sam Harris's Waking Up app,
which I'm using now because of you.
Yeah, it's good. Hey,
it's amazing.
Do you what day are you on? It's a 28-day course.
Oh, I didn't do the course. I just do the daily meditation.
Oh, nice. So he has a whole 28-day course, which I really like because but you've been meditating for a while. I found meditating honestly really fucking hard. Yeah. I found it so hard because I think I have a lot of existential dread. Do you know like that, it's like fear of death, but also just like the scary feeling that you get if you're let alone with your thoughts. I would start to get anxious.
Right.
And then I would start overthinking and start like, I just couldn't meditate. I couldn't clear my head. I found it, you know that feeling that you get when you like pick up your phone, but like right before, where you're like kind of uncomfortable, kind of bored, and then you pick up your phone to alleviate it? Like that feeling was really hard for me to sit with, you know, like I would always try and do something. So just learning to like be still and let it like pass, just like a rep, I think has really, has changed me, has changed my experience of life, you know, because I feel like I'm actually in the present now versus just like racing.
Well, I felt like that so much too. Like I felt like I was just always, you know, I was always just thinking about things, thinking about my past, or thinking about what's over there, what's next. Like
just
I was
planning.
I was
three
never
steps ahead.
Yeah, I was never living in the moment. And now that I'm living in the moment because of meditation, it's definitely been a game changer for me.
I would even think about problems that I would have if I became successful. Like, oh, if I became then I would have to deal with it. I'm like, what? Why am I like? How is that a productive use of my time and my mind? So I'm just going to bring up the elephant in the bachelor apartment that we're in right now.
Okay.
Had another reason why we took a hiatus from the podcast is because I had a loss in my life, like the first significant loss that I've dealt with. On end of August, my brother took his life. I talked about it on social media a little bit, and I don't know, I feel like pretty open about it. I've tried to make a conscious effort to not close, you know? So like, I'm fine talking about it. I know that, you know, you can understand what that's like.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think, well, I think what you went through is definitely tough. Mm-hmm. And I think that, it was completely necessary that obviously we took a break from the podcast. And I feel like you've grown so much since then.
Really?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Like, I feel like you're just like almost like you seem more grounded, I think, in a weird way. Yeah. Do you feel more grounded?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I think that, it's just helped put a lot of things into perspective for me. Like, I think that I was living that, like we were talking about before, I always felt like I was racing, like kind of just like racing through life, you know? And then after my divorce last year, I was like racing to like move on from it, you know? Versus like being still and letting things process and sit. And I'm so fucking happy that I started meditating, going to therapy, and started yoga before this happened. Like, it's actually kind of crazy. It's almost like I was training to like deal with this loss, because I mean, you always, I say this, but I don't know, obviously, if this would have happened a year ago, like, I don't know if I would have been equipped to deal with it. Like, at least not the way that I am right now, that I can actually still like do shit, you know? I think I would have been immobilized, you know, because that happens to people sometimes when they grieve and they're not prepared, or they don't have like the resources to deal with it. They can just become totally paralyzed. So yeah, it's fucking weird how that worked out, actually, like having to adapt to COVID, and then, you know, building this like toolkit of self-care that I can always go towards. Like, I had things that I was able to do, you know, like even we went to the site where he jumped, and I brought sage with me and burned it. And it was just, I've never seen sage like burn that strong. It was crazy.
Really?
And I don't know what I'm part Indigenous, so it is like, well, you know, goes along with my like ethnic heritage, but I don't really know what my beliefs on that are. But it's just nice to be able to do something when you like don't know what to do, you know. So it
makes you feel better, hey?
100%. Because so I was just listening to this podcast. Actually, a friend of mine sent it to me. Do you know Brene Brown, right?
I've so many people quote her.
Okay. She's great. So she,
what is she, like a public speaker or something?
Yeah, she has like a master's of sociology. She talks a lot about like vulnerability, shame. She's like self-development. She's really good. You should check her out. She had this TED Talk that went viral and wrote a few books. She was talking to two researchers who wrote a book called Burnout, and it just came out, and I think it's so relevant right now because I know that I'm feeling it and that so many other people are feeling it, this sense of burnout right now during COVID. Like COVID burnout is a real thing.
Explain it. What is that?
Just so they said that so feeling like your resources are overwhelmed. So let's see if I can remember them all. There were 3 different things that like characterize burnout. One of them was emotional exhaustion. So just like being on an emotional roller coaster, the highs and the lows, and just being exhausted from that. Another one was depersonalization. So being unable to empathize with other people because you're just like, I don't fucking have like room to worry about your shit right now. I feel like I'm barely holding on to mine. You know that feeling, right? So depersonalization. So just being unable to empathize with other people, really like take on anything more because you feel like you're not managing your own stuff. And I can't remember what the last one was. I think it was a feeling of like just having no motivation, thinking I can't change my circumstances, the world is fucked. You know, that sort of, like nihilism, that feeling of just, hopelessness, and what's the point of fucking doing anything because you're going to get screwed over anyways, and you know?
Right.
We've all heard this, we've all said this at some point, right?
Yeah.
And she was talking about stress as a cycle. So it's not just like you're stressed and then when the thing that's stressing you goes away, then you're fine. No, stress accumulates in your body. And if you don't complete the cycle, then you just accumulate so much stress, and that's what leads to burnout. So she was talking about different things that you can do to help complete the cycle after the outside stressor is gone, and one of them was exercise. So
Shut up, Brene Brown. She knows what's up.
So one of them was like even just putting on music and like dance. Like I'll do that too. The other day I was feeling like absolute shit, and I put on my brother's music and I learned how to shuffle, and I like shuffled and I was so fucking sweaty.
That's so
But
sick.
I felt so good after. You know, I felt like it purges it. I know. You know, hot yoga is good for that too.
Any kind of sweating, anytime you get your body just moving and sweating, like you're gonna feel good.
That's why the sauna feels so good too, right? It's that purging. Another one was cuddling with somebody that you love, but actually there's research on a 20-second hug, like full 20-second hug with somebody. Help complete the stress cycle and lower your blood pressure and change your hormones so you release oxytocin. I'm trying to remember what all of them were. Oh, creative. Another one was creative work. So doing something creative. Mm-hmm. So taking your pain and trauma and creating something beautiful out of it. So acting or writing or painting or singing. So just that, the art of creating, taking what's like inside and just getting it out.
Well, it's funny you say that because I remember when I was doing when it was during quarantine, maybe even a few weeks back, there was like 3 auditions a day. Right, like audition. I
remember I was kind of jealous.
Yeah, it was insane. Like there was a point where it was overwhelming for me. Mm-hmm. Like I was like, I can't even. Yeah,
I can imagine. I think I might feel that way too. And you're an entrepreneur with in the fitness industry as well. So I can't imagine your mind must have been all over the place.
Yeah, because when a script comes in, you got to take a break. I have to I completely switch gears. I take one hat off and I put on the other. And it just spilled everywhere. You okay?
I just spilled soda all over myself.
But so my flies down. There was a time, where I was auditioning all the time, and I never felt it made me feel so good though. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, that's the creative thing you're talking about. Yeah. Like that creative thing that was getting built up inside of me. I didn't have that for a while. Yeah. And when I didn't have the auditions, I fucking learned to play the ukulele.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like you were looking for things.
You gotta have that creative outlet that you need, whether you can relate yourself to being an artist or whatever it is. you got to have it. And for like a lot of people are listening to
Some
this.
Some people it's fucking baking.
Yeah.
Whatever your thing is.
Whatever your thing is.
Just the art of creation, I think, is actually a necessary.
Yeah.
It's necessary basic need, just like food and water and shelter.
Yeah.
That I don't think we're happy as humans unless I think like there's nothing more gratifying than being proud of something that you created, right?
Yeah.
That's why people have kids too, right?
Seriously. It's true though. They finally have that goal.
And I know when I didn't have, and I mean, I still don't know how I feel about it. I think more leaning toward, I don't know. I honestly don't know how I feel about having kids sometimes, but I know when I wasn't doing creative stuff, I was a lot more focused on that and thinking about it.
On kids?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Because I think it taps into sort of a similar impulse.
Like when I
was married.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought a lot about that.
Like when you're being creative, though, you were saying?
No, I meant when I didn't have creative stuff.
Oh,
like before
yeah.
I was acting,
I
said I thought a lot more about that.
I see what you're saying.
So it's like, I don't know, makes me think that maybe it comes from a similar impulse, you know?
Yeah.
Just wanting to create.
It's true, though. I think to some degree.
I know that I feel happiest and like a whole person when I'm able to like tend to my physical self, my spiritual self by meditating and doing yoga and doing creative stuff. If I can do all of those, that's like the dream life, isn't it?
Well, let me tell you something, honey. Those are all definitely doable.
Yeah.
I just listened to a Matthew McConaughey podcast. Mm-hmm. Have you listened to him on any of them? He's everywhere right now. Yeah, because he's promoting some book that he has coming out. Which, by the way,
like a self-help book? Or,
I think so. I actually don't. It's called Greenlight, I think what it is, and it's basically a playbook of things that he's achieved or overcome in his life. So I guess you kind of just like you hear the story that and how it's kind of changed his life, and then you can relate it to yours. But him on the podcast was just so motivating. It was such a motivating episode. Like he was just talking about how basically his dad was, really sick and passing away, which obviously, I don't know. It's fun when you can relate to people and like their journey and their story, right? Yeah. It really hits home for you. And maybe that's kind of why I really did love that episode. Mm-hmm. But he's talking about how his dad was kind of a bit of a hard ass. And he's like, hey, Dad, I'm thinking about dropping out of like law school. And I think I want to go into film school.
Oh, I didn't know he was in law school.
Or something like that. Like he was like getting ready for law. Or,
okay.
I think he was, he was in school for something. I don't know.
Okay.
Don't quote me on this. I forget, obviously. I'm too fucking dumb. But, it's been a while. But, no, he, basically his dad was like, okay, cool. Just don't half-ass it. Huh. He's like, it was the 4 words that changed my life forever.
I love that.
Just don't half-ass it.
I love that.
That's 4 words, right?
I think
just
a lot of people half-ass it out of shame. You know what I mean? I don't think that it's like because they're lazy. I think
five yeah. words. I gotta correct myself because I know people are like, he's dumb. He's a little bit stupid. Actually, me and Anna, we stepped on the balcony before this episode and had a little toke.
Little, not liquid courage.
Yeah,
Smoke courage. I don't know.
Some vegetables.
Yeah.
That make you think weird.
Some plant courage.
Yeah, some plant courage. We smoked a joint. Right? We smoked a joint. That's what it is. But anyways, for everyone listening and including yourself, definitely check it out. It's an amazing episode. He's such a motivating guy. And he's just like so like again, that's someone else that's very grounded and just has like a great foundation of like what his life is and what
I would say that you're grounded too, and I think actually that going through something that is really, really difficult does ground you. And then also being able to see other successful people and realizing that the most successful people have actually been through the ringer. That's also really inspiring too.
Of course. And there's some truth to that too, right? He actually, again, I don't mean to keep talking about his podcast, but like he was talking about like how his dad, in hindsight, was the greatest. His dad passing was the greatest thing that might have ever happened to him.
Wow.
At the when it first originally happened, it was a bit of a red light, but when he looks back, looks back on it, it's a bit of a green light. That's why his book's called The Green Light.
Oh wow. Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's really dope.
That's really cool. I was just listening to this thing yesterday. I think it was just on Instagram, but about stoicism.
Oh yeah.
And about making friends with anything that happens in your life. So, and being grateful for it.
Yeah.
And everything that comes into your life and every problem is an opportunity to grow. And I think in Latin it was the amor fati was the Latin phrase that he used, but it was like, thank you for this problem. It just really does shift the way that you approach things, right? That come into your life.
Yeah, and just like, it's about adapting to the wave.
Yeah, and I also found that there's something I heard about on the Sam Harris app that really helped me. He said, think about how your future self would want to look back on your present self.
Whoa,
like, how did Anna deal with her brother dying? How did she respond to it? Did she fall into a depressive spiral and start doing, like drugs, more drugs, and more drugs?
Yeah, more drugs.
Just weed, folks. But okay, maybe some shrooms. but or did I like turn my life around and get more serious about my goals and leave, like do that career change that I've been wanting to do for a while. Like he said that it's amazing how you can actually affect, like thinking about the future, perspective thinking can actually change your present reality.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love that too.
That's cool. Hey.
That's fucking dope. It's so true though.
Mm-hmm.
That's so true. Yeah. I think in like already, I mean, it's only been like 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20. My dad didn't pass away that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of know what he means. Like it kind of made me more, it's time to be a man kind of feeling, it's time to be a man.
It's funny. I feel the same way. I felt like an adult, I almost felt like I was kind of playing sometimes before. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
I still feel like that right now.
Yeah. Sometimes I still feel like that, but it made me feel a lot less like that. It made me feel like, oh, actually, how you have this idea that like the world is more orderly and like you're chaotic almost inside. But then when something like this happens, and then even with COVID and all of the uncertainty going on in the world, you're like, oh, wait, this is just how things normally are. Everything is actually fucking chaotic. And you're right. It's about trying to live as gracefully as you can in the flow. Because once you realize that, it makes you realize that you're just like everyone else. And like the natural state of things is chaos, and it's about trying to find equanimity, like stability, emotional stability throughout those waves, right?
It's so true. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Listen, man, we're gonna be some bitches soon, though. I'll tell you that. We're going through a lot. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. What else have you what's a big thing that you've kind of gained from quarantine? I feel like there's so many negatives to it, but what is something that you're like, oh man, I am so happy that happened?
Learning to be by myself.
Learning to be by yourself.
And enjoy it a lot.
Enjoy it. Okay.
Yeah. So today I even pushed back the podcast so I could go for a bike ride around the seawall by myself.
Did you bike around the seawall?
Yeah.
That's cool. Like your exercise for the day?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then I came home and did half an hour of yoga.
Ah, cool.
Just because I wanted to, and I'll go to a nice view and maybe have a little toke of a joint and do a meditation, and it's really nice. I like just going on outings on my own, and I'll still get dressed up like I would if I was going with somebody else, and just go and do shit on my own. It's nice.
What do you do on your own?
Listen to headphone, or put on headphones and listen to music, and just walk around and people watch and go buy myself some food somewhere or something,
Yeah.
Stuff like that, and just think.
Yeah, I experienced a lot of that when I was single.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was really just I keep saying that's sorry. But I'd always go out.
We don't fucking care.
Yeah. I'd always go out and just do stuff by myself. It was nice. I sit at a bar and like talk to a girl, talk to the bartender, and
see, I don't really talk to people when I'm out by myself as much. I'm using it. I'm pretty social, but I just like to process.
Yeah.
Like, I think I'm just taking more time to process and realizing that, like, in this modern world, we have so much fucking stimulation all the time that it's really important to take time to process our life. And things are changing so fast and have changed for me so fast that's why I think I need to take a lot of time to just, like, recharge my battery. My friend told me she wasn't meditating. She was just, like, hanging out in the room, and I was. And she said when she looked over at me, it looked like I was like an iPhone plugged into the wall, like the human version of that, just like recharging.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, I think realizing that I can do all of those things. I don't need to wait for anybody to do all of those things.
Yeah.
And then when I do eventually find like my person, then I can continue to do all of it. But I'm not going to fucking wait to do those things.
No, and like even when you find the person, it's important to still do those things
by yourself. 100%.
Yeah, you got to keep that going.
Yeah, definitely. I think learning, also letting go of codependency.
Yeah,
because I definitely after I had a pretty rough childhood, and my ex was, he was very, very stable, very straight-laced, and I think that he definitely gave me a sense of stability. And then when he left, it's so cliche because it's cliche, but it's true that when people say like you were there all you needed was there all along inside of yourself. And that's what I have actually discovered during COVID, because I thought that without David, like I would, because of my rough childhood, like I didn't have the tools to successfully like run my life, and that I would like fuck it up basically,
Yeah.
So that's why like I got so stressed out about money and shit like that, because I just like was looking for reasons. We always try and confirm our beliefs. So my belief is I will screw up my life, and I'm not responsible enough to like care for myself. So yeah, I think I was always looking for, like, I'd always beat myself up if I felt like I wasn't doing as well as I wanted to with finances and stuff like that, know?
Right.
But letting go of that, like, inner critic and learning to actually be supportive of myself has really helped me. Being a drill sergeant to yourself in your head does not help you, It's true. Like, I used to think that I needed that almost, or I wouldn't do the things that I needed to do. And then when I switch gears and I've actually started to like be nice to myself, I do all of those things easier almost. And when I'm taking the rest, I can actually rest because I'm not beating myself up and feeling guilty about taking it,
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, don't you feel like you get such better quality rest when you just actually allow yourself, and then instead of needing 5 hours of laying around, you only take 2 because you actually like
it's so true
soaked in the benefits of that, right?
Yeah. No, it's definitely like it's a big thing to like know when to take time off and when to like just charge yourself up. Yeah. I was actually even thinking tomorrow, like I'm so addicted right now to just increasing this like online training business that I'm running right now, and like I see it happening right in my eyes, and it's like Sunday is a good day to take off.
Yeah,
a lot of people talk about that. A lot of successful people talk about at least taking one day off a week. Turn off your phone, you turn off everything, and you just do nothing.
That's a big one. The phone. I take time off, but I'm still pretty addicted to my phone.
Is that me?
I think so.
No.
Oh.
What is that?
I think it's my phone on the floor.
Oh, weird.
Should we just... I don't think...
Fuck it.
Whatever. Let's just leave it.
Yeah, okay.
It'll stop ringing eventually. Why does it sound so loud?
Yeah. Oh, it's on the stove. That's why.
Oh, okay.
But
we'll cut it in post. Just kidding.
Just kidding. We don't do that.
Yeah.
We're too lazy.
Yeah.
This podcast doesn't make us enough money to do that. But
sponsor us.
Sponsor us, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's not like... quarantine for me has been such a life changer. It couldn't have come at a better time in my life. And what I mean by that is it was a good way for me to kind of sit back and analyze like what I'm doing and where I was doing so many different things and like just throwing stuff at the wall and just seeing what would stick. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah, like I was doing in-person training at the time still. And like, I was like still having to get up and go somewhere for work. And I didn't like that. And I wanted to change that. And I wasn't utilizing like what I had in front of me enough. You know what I mean? I was doing so many different things, but not enough of something that I really liked.
Yeah. So your attention wasn't focused.
Yeah. And I'm happy that quarantine happened because it allowed me to kind of, everyone was forced to take a step back. There was no like, hey, you need to charge up at home. Stay home. Yeah. How many times? Stay the fuck home. Stay the fuck home. It's like, okay, I'll stay home. I'll figure out my shit here. And like you figure out shit. Yeah. You kind of just like, you start, okay, well, what's this? Like, you don't have to, there's nothing to lose. You just have time to lose. That's it.
Haven't you heard of so many people saying that they've kind of, had a similar journey during quarantine?
But do you think that because we're at the age right now where that would make sense? Like we're at the age where people are kind of figuring out what they're doing with their life. And,
True.
And they're kind of like, okay, cool. I know for a fact I want to go down this road.
But I also think that it's kind of different than previous generations because previous generations, most people, were on the buy a house, go to university, get a job, buy a house, have kids. Most people were on that train.
You think so?
I was on that train before.
I'm so disconnected from that, I guess.
We live in a yuppie, hippie Vancouver bubble that does not represent most of Canada. We're both from Edmonton, and I can attest to the fact that, like, I don't know anybody who lives like I do in Edmonton, you know? It's funny. So I reconnected with friends back in Edmonton, and
How was that, by the way?
It's funny because we build up these stories in our head. So my story in my head of how they viewed like my life was I screwed up the marriage that I had with my doctor husband, and I'm out.
He's a doctor, eh?
Yeah. And I'm out now broke and hoeing it up in Vancouver trying to be an actress. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm not, but compared to being...
She's not trying to become an actress.
Yeah, exactly. Compared to being a Christian who was a virgin on her wedding night.
Right. Fuck, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know. So
Were you like hardcore Christian?
He was more. I tried to convince him to fuck me.
Really?
Yeah.
He was hardcore Christian though?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yikes.
But I talked to, I forget who I was chatting with about this, but I definitely think that I chose him because my parents gave me such fucked up attitudes towards sexuality growing up, and because of religion, because I was like, oh, I'm not strong enough, because I knew inside that I had these I felt like I was a bad person for like wanting to have sex. And I remember feeling like David was a safe choice in a way because he could be strong because I wouldn't be strong enough, Because if I was with somebody who wanted to, then I wouldn't be able to say no because I want to as well,
Right.
It's funny, like, how subconsciously we think these things, because for a long time I was like, oh, yeah, I tried to, but he didn't want to. But then you realize, like, I also did pick him, and he told me 2 weeks into dating that he didn't want to have sex until marriage.
Right.
And I still, dated him, and I made that choice. That's why taking.
Hold on a second here. So I know we talked about that, but like, how long were you guys engaged for, like dating wise?
I was 15 when I started dating.
You were 15 when you met him, so you were super young.
Yeah, and then I got married at 20, and I got engaged at 18.
So from 15 to 20, there was no sex.
Nope.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
No sex.
For 5 years.
No P in the V action.
For 5 years.
Yeah.
That is insane.
I used to joke that he gave me blue ovaries.
Did you used to say it to him? Wait, so was he how the fuck does he not, that's crazy. Cause that's as a guy, 15 to 20, you're
honestly,
your testosterone, like you're becoming a man.
I guess it shows just how
religion,
how controlling it is, because and I tried.
I was gonna ask you, was there ever a story where you're like, I'm doing this. This is happening. I'm jumping on him. I'm gonna play with him a little bit.
I tried to use religious and intellectual arguments into getting him to like drop that. Well, actually, if you look at the Bible in the historical context of the time, it could have meant this and that. Like I tried to.
Wow.
Because that's the way that we connected more.
Right.
Was intellectually.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we fooled around.
You did everything except.
Yeah.
So that's allowed. That's weird.
I know, it was stupid.
Like, why is that allowed?
I don't think it is. It's stupid. It makes no sense.
How was, this is a thing that I always hear from people that are like having sex without getting married or waiting to get married to have sex. What is that?
It's a soda.
I gotta take a piss. One sec, okay? I'm gonna pause it. Okay, we're back. Okay. I forgot what I was saying. Fuck's sakes.
I had a thought though.
What?
It actually. So I was saying, like, it just shows how pervasive religion can be, that it prevented him from doing that. But I remember I took it personally. Like, I think it made me feel really insecure for a long time that I couldn't convince him to.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Because I was like, I didn't think I was desirable enough. Like I just took, I don't know, because of like shit that I dealt with, I guess, when I was a child, when I was a kid, my own insecurities. I just took it as like,
I'm not like,
okay. I was like, I'm not alluring enough to get him to.
I mean, I could see how that is possible. Mm-hmm. I can see how that's a thing.
How like 17, 18-year-old would think that, right?
Yeah. Virgin.
Yeah. Okay, what were you gonna ask?
What was it like? We're all wondering that. Wedding night happens, champagne pops. I do. You may kiss the bride, husband, boom. You guys get back to the hotel the same night, right?
Yeah.
No?
So do you want to hear a funny story that kind of like already sort of turned me off a little bit? So the one thing he was applying for med school that year, so I basically let him off the hook with planning. The one thing I asked him was to get the hotel room like booked and ready. He ended up outsourcing the booking of it to his brother, which is okay. But then I learned during our wedding reception that his mom set up the room for us.
The mom?
Yes. She made chocolate strawberries and bought champagne and stuff. And like he outsourced it to her. And it made me feel really uncomfortable.
Did you say anything?
No. I don't know.
That's so weird.
But you want to hear about...
this is going to look... My son is just going to love the strawberries.
As he plows my daughter-in-law for the first time. Anyways, so during the toast, this is how I learned about it. She was like... Because he was like the last brother to live at home.
Right.
They had both moved out, and he said, "Oh yeah, we're gonna miss David, but he's had it pretty good living with us." I just woke him up this morning with a strawberry in his mouth.
What?
And then apparently, I remember being like, "What the fuck?" And then apparently, my friends were all like stifling like laughter at that because it's a really weird thing to say, right?
Yeah. It's a very strange thing to say.
Very strange.
Yeah, my son's up. I just put a banana in his mouth. What? Wait, what?
So we
can't do that.
It was underwhelming. I liked this. I liked the stuff that we did before better.
Oh man. So did you guys ended up having sex that night though? Mm-hmm. In the hotel. Mm-hmm. And how was it? Was it awful?
It was over in like 3 minutes.
Yeah. And then that was it.
And I was like,
"Good night."
Oh, I like the stuff we did before better.
That's what you said to him?
No, I thought it. And then I remember I thought it was weird because like his brother came to visit. So his brother was sleeping in our living room, but we didn't sleep together the next 2 nights. It was weird.
Interesting.
And it's funny because evangelical Christianity, they tell you if you wait until marriage, then the like sex that you have is going to be mind blowing, you know? But
it wasn't.
No.
They lied.
I was like,
what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I feel taken for a ride.
Yeah.
No, I didn't feel
My
taken for a ride.
My breath is taken away.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I need to have a word
did
with
it get, did it, sorry.
I was just going to make a stupid joke. Go on.
Did it get better?
Yeah, it got better.
I'm going to have my way with you. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, I need to have a word with Mr. JC about this. I don't know.
Oh my God. Ridiculous. Did it get better? Did the sex get, it did. Okay. Yeah. That's good. For everyone listening to this, if you're in this situation, it gets better. That's good. Marginally.
Have sex before marriage, kids.
Yeah. I think that's a good thing to say.
I think it's a great thing to say.
You need to have sex.
Have sex before marriage because you don't know.
Well, yeah.
I don't think we would have got married if we would have had sex.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Damn. Wow. Mm-hmm. Well, we're back.
We're back. Raw and uncut.
Raw and uncut. This has been a great episode. Yeah. I say we wrap this fucking... Sorry, this is new to me. So we wrap this bitch up.
Yeah.
We're back.
Yeah, I hope
right?
You guys,
we're back.
I hope you guys like that and the new direction. I think both of us are ready to... I think being the more open and the more honest that we are.
And for me, like when I didn't have this in my life, this was a big therapy tool for me.
Yeah.
I know it's weird because I'm like talking to everyone else in the world or whoever's listening to this episode, and it's like, well, why are you sharing your personal information, whatever. I don't know. I like it. Like it makes me feel good, especially talking to you. You're such a good listener, and like it's just the band. I love it, man. I get like an energy from this. I'm already fired up. I'm gonna do 100 push-ups. But
2021 going to be our year.
2021. Plug your Instagram that you don't use.
That I will be using more. At Lanagrams. Well,
why Lana? Why is that again?
Because it's like anagram.
But it's like okay.
An anagram was taken, so I just put an L in front of it.
Yeah, I like it. Why not just your name or something?
I don't know.
I'm being so judgy. I don't know why.
It's
unnecessary.
I might change it. I don't know. I
like it. I like it. No, keep it. Keep it. All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening. We'll be back probably next week or the week after that. We don't know, but like we'll be here. Okay, we're here. We're not leaving again. We're gonna make this happen in terms of guests and stuff like that. We'll be surprising you. I don't know. It's quarantine. You got to give us kind of some leeway. It might be just me and you for a little bit. Who knows? We'll see where this goes. But in the meantime, if you're feeling like you need to get a little bit of a workout on, I'm going to have my link for my YouTube channel down below. Again, they're just free at-home workouts for you guys to do during quarantine because quarantine sucks. And if you don't have access to a gym, these workouts are only like 15 to 20 minutes max. You can do them at home. You can do them on your cell phone, whatever it is. Enjoy those, and we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.